Hi everyone, this is the walkthrough video for the Compare and Order Flags Scientific Notation assignment. Let's get started. Directions on each screen. First, convert the number from scientific notation to standard form and type it in the question mark spot. Then arrange the values in order by dragging each flag onto the arrow below each slide. Pay attention to the specific direction to see if you're arranging in ascending, going up, or descending, going down order. Okay, ascending or descending order. Okay, world city populations arrange the cities in descending order according to the number of people who live in the city. So these are the number of people that live in India, Vietnam, Mexico, and Chile in these different cities. We're going to first convert them into standard form, so the original number with all of its zeros, and then order them in descending order. Okay, so I'm actually going to switch up this order a little bit. First, I think I want to compare these because we write in scientific notation to simplify really large, really small numbers, but also make it easier to read and compare. So what you're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of these base 10s and take a look at their exponent. What do we know about these exponents? The larger the exponent, the larger the number, because it has more zeros at the end. It has a longer string of zeros. And what we know that negative exponents also mean very small numbers. So the larger the exponent, the larger the number. If the exponents are the same, then you have to look at the base. Okay, so if we're comparing these, let's go ahead and compare these in descending order going down. The largest number, okay, is going to have the base or the exponent 7. We have 7, 6, 7, and 5. So these two are going to be the largest. How do I tell which one is larger between these two? Now, since they have the same exponent, we're going to look at the front, the base. 3.1 and 2.19. So India is going to have the largest population because it has the largest exponent. And between the two with 7 as an exponent, it has the larger base. So India is going to go first, so drag India right here, followed by Mexico. Mexico comes next. Okay, between Vietnam and Chile, which one's larger? Vietnam has a larger population because it has 6. Chile only has 5. So drag Vietnam next, and then Chile. Okay, so India, Mexico, Vietnam, Chile from descending order. So from largest to smallest. Now let's convert these into scientific notation. I'm sorry, standard form. It's already in scientific notation. Let's convert to standard form. Okay, so what we're going to do is replace these question marks. 3.1 times 10 to the 7th power. That means we have 7 jumps. We're moving our decimal place 7 jumps to the right side because our number is getting larger. Okay, and we can use our reasoning skills. If we have 7 jumps, okay, to move this decimal place, I need to move this decimal over the 1. So that takes up 1 of my 7 jumps. So now I only have 6 left. And I'm going to jump over 6 times those invisible zeros. So what that means is I'm going to have 6 zeros. So replace this question mark. 1 jump to get over the 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That also means 6 zeros. And then we can go in and place our commas there so it's a little easier to read. 31 million. Okay, if you're not able to reason that well like that, okay, it's all in your head, then use some scratch paper and actually draw out the jumps. I have 7 jumps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my decimal place is going to go right here. And then we're going to fill in these gaps with zeros. We're jumping over those invisible zeros when we move those decimal place over, the decimal place over, and you can see that I have 6 zeros. Okay, so that's India. Vietnam. Okay, 6 jumps. Oh, sorry, let's do Mexico first because it's actually in this order. There we go. That's what you dragged on the bottom number line. Okay, Mexico, 7 jumps again, but this time, okay, we have to jump over the 1. See how it's 2.19, jump over the 1, jump over the 9, and now we only have 5 jumps left, 5 more places, so we're going to have 5 zeros. Jump over the 1, jump over the 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can go in and put our commas. Comma, comma. But again, if you don't like thinking about the number of jumps, you actually want to do the jumps, use your scratch paper, or you can take a screenshot of the screen to actually physically do the jumps. 7 jumps to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's your decimal place. You can fill in the gaps with zeros. You'll see that we have 5 zeros. Okay, so the jump over the 1 and the 9 do count. Next, we have Vietnam. 8.8 times 10 to the 6. We are moving the decimal place 6 times to the right. We do need to use one of our 6 to get over this 8 right here. So we're only going to have 5 jumps left, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back in and put in our commas. If you'd like to write this, 8.8 with 6 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next one, Chile. 9.9 times 10 to the 5th. That means we have 5 jumps. We're moving our decimal place 5 units to the right. We got to get over this 9. So that's going to take up one of my jumps. So I only have 4 left. Means 4 zeros. Okay, go ahead and fill in your commas. And again, if you'd rather write the decimal and then do your jumps, if that helps you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then go ahead and do that. Okay. Slide 4, world city populations number 2. We are comparing cities in Jordan, Egypt, England, and the US. And this time we're arranging them in ascending order. Ascending means from least to greatest. You can make a big A with your hands. See that? Looks like an arrow pointing up. Ascending order. So we want to start with our smallest city. Again, let's look at our exponents before we compare these numbers written in standard form. Let's look at the exponent. Jordan has 10 to the 6th. Egypt has 10 to the 7th. England, 10 to the 6th. US, 10 to the 6th. Okay, so we have 6, 6, 6. Egypt is 7, so we know that Egypt is going to have the largest population because it has the largest exponent. So I'm going to go ahead and drag Egypt over here. Scoot these guys down. Because these 3 are all tied 10 to the 6th, we have to look at the base. We have to look at the front number. 2.1, 9.4, 8.2. And then we're just going to order it in from least to greatest in ascending order. So the smallest one is going to be Jordan, 2.1, followed by New York City here in the United States, and then England. Okay, so compare your decimals. Compare your exponents first, and if they are the same, then look at your decimal. All right, now we can write these in standard form. Jordan has 10 to the 6th. We're moving to the right still because these are positive exponents. They're large numbers. So we're going to have 6 jumps to the right. We have to get over the 1, though, so that only leaves us with 5 more jumps, which means 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go in and fill in your commas. Or you can show your jumps on some scratch paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to end up with 5 zeros. New York is 10 to the 6th as well. We still need to jump over this 2. Then we're going to have 5 jumps left. So 8, 2, and 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can show your work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. You can fill in these zeros. Next, England, also 10 to the 6th. It's 9.4. We got to jump over the 4, and then we only have 5 jumps left. 9, 4, and 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Show your work. 9.4 with 6 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can fill in each gap with a 0 and see that there's 5 zeros. Egypt is 10 to the 7th. And the interesting thing about Egypt that the others didn't have is this decimal has 2 decimal places. It's 2.13. So out of my 7 jumps, I have to get over the 1. So now I only have 6, and I have to get over the 3. So I'm going to have 5 zeros. Let me show you the work here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can see I'm going to have 5 zeros, even with 7 total jumps. Okay. Slide 5, roller coasters. This data is on the number of roller coasters for every 1 million people in the country. Arrange the countries in ascending order, so least to greatest going up. This time you can see that our exponents, we have some negative numbers. And remember that the more negative a number, the smaller it is. So when we're comparing these numbers in scientific notation, we're going to go from least to greatest, find the most negative exponent. Negative exponents mean very, very, very small numbers, really long decimals. So -3 is going to be our smallest. So Pakistan comes first. And then Cuba, Saudi Arabia is tied with the -1 exponent, but we do know the United States is at 0. So this is going to be our largest. Because these two are tied, we're going to have to look at the front base right here. Okay, and we're going from least to greatest, so we're going to start with the one that is smaller, 2.7, and then the 5.9. So this is the correct order right here. Now we're going to rewrite these in standard notation. So 6.2. For negative exponents, we know that it's a small number, which means we're going to move our decimal place now jumping to the left to make it a smaller number. So I'm going to show my work up here, and then you guys can type it in this question mark spot. 3 jumps to the left. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we can fill in these gaps with zeros, and this becomes a really small decimal, so don't forget your 0 up front. Okay, so this, whoops. I accidentally erased my answer there. There you go. Don't forget that this decimal is moving, so don't put 2 decimals in your answer. It's going to be 0.0062. Okay, so we moved our decimal 3 places to the left. Our next one is Cuba, 2.7 times 10 to the -1st. -1 means we're moving our decimal place 1 place to the left. It's going to go right here. And don't forget your 0 up front. So 0.27. Saudi Arabia is pretty similar as well. 5.9 times 10 to the -1st. So that's 1 jump to the left. 1 jump to the left. Decimal place is right there. Add your 0 up front. So 0.59. The United States has 10 to the 0 power, and anything to the 0 power is 1. So 2.1 times 1 is still just 2.1. Or another way to think about this is if I have 2.1 times 10 to the 0 power, I'm moving my decimal 0 times. So it's the same number, just 2.1. Our very last slide, we are ordering the number of televisions for every 1,000 people in the country, arranged in descending order. So going down, we're going to start with our largest number first and then work our way down. Let's look at the exponents, compare the exponents first. Bermuda has 10 to the 3rd power. France has 10 to the 2nd. Haiti has 10 to the 0, 10 to the 1st. Okay, so descending, we're starting with our largest numbers first. 3 is going to win. Then 2, and then 1, and 0. And like the United States for this one, 10 to the 0 power is the same thing as 1. So 4.2 times 1 is still 4.2. This one's going to be 4.2. Okay, the rest of these, let's move the decimal place. Whole number 1, it's a positive exponent, so we're moving to the right. 3 jumps. 1, 2, 3. We don't have to jump over anything because it's a whole number up front. There's no decimal. So we're going to fill this in with zeros, and we get 1,000. Don't leave this decimal place there. We're moving it over. Okay, so it's 1,000. France. We're moving our decimal place to the right. 2 jumps. 1. Got to jump over the 6. 2. So here's our new decimal place. We're left with 560. Last one, Somalia. 7.1 times 10 to the 1st. We're moving our decimal place over to the right because it's positive. 1 jump. And we end up with 17. Okay, go ahead and finish this assignment. You can watch any part that you need to again. Good thing about a video. And then don't forget to click submit in Schoology. Hope this video helps. See ya.